That's me in the middle there with a Z on the back and the funny hair. Ramping up the power with 3 seconds to go, so I have a chance to stay with these guys 30 seconds into the race. Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. The funny hair. I talked about it in my last Crit City video on how I came about that hair and how it looked like I had a yarmulke on when I was racing. Now that I had a closer look at it, it looks closer to the old rainbow bread hats, paper hats that I used to wear when I worked at my parents' restaurant back from when I was 7 till I was 18. And yes, it was a lot like the Saturday Night Live restaurant with Belushi and Aykroyd. I especially like the Crit City races on Sundays. Those races are shorter. They're about 9.8 miles, where the other ones are maybe like 12.8. So that's like a 25% or 23% reduction. At this very early part in the race, it's all about managing my red line. I don't want a red line because if I red line, all of a sudden I'm off this group and I'm in whatever group is going to form in the back. And speaking of managing my red line, we are now on the rollers and this is a very tough part for me. Probably for other people too, but I feel it especially now. If I'm sitting in second place coming out of this thing, that means that people slid up around me, and that I am very thankful for. But the slope is just for a little bit. They're all starting to come to the front again and I am moving in the back. I just don't want to go off the back. Speaking of off the back, I'm dangerously close to being off the back. If you take a look at the graphics on the lower right, you'll see a split that's starting to happen. Now the blue highlighted graphics, that's me, and I have another person, a couple people behind me, and then you have a 5 second, 6 second split that's forming. That group is going to form the, not the laughing group, but the second group. So everybody has gone so hard here that they caused a split, and now you have 2 packs of riders. I am thankfully still in the front split, and I am now riding some wheels there, or at least I'm trying to ride some wheels, but so far I'm protected. Taking a look at those same graphics, you'll see where a corner ago they were about 5 and 6 seconds behind. Now they're about 11, 12 seconds behind. There's some people crying uncle right now. Coming out of the roller section, I'm again in an acceptable position. We are also real close to being stretched out. That means there's some power being laid down. So if again you take a look at the graphics on the right, and below each of the names you'll see the watts per kilogram that's going on. So a lot of us are doing 4.0 or close to 4.0 in the high 3s. Except for now that I mentioned it, now I'm below 2. So that means the pack slow down and I get to rest just a little bit because I'm sure it's going to pick up again. Now you see somebody out there that's stretching things out, and now we're being lined out. Now the power is going to start to happen. I think we recently started our 3rd lap. And if you notice, oh, I wish that token was mine. I do have a token. I have the feather token, which means that I am riding as if I'm a lighter rider, which is important in this rolling section. I'm still going good. And considering what I did yesterday, I did a climbing test. And I went with some very fast climbers. I'm going to have that video linked below in the description. Definitely check that out if you haven't. There's a lot of commentary to that. And it's a good video. I think you'll enjoy it. So, coming out of this, I am still with the group, but I'm falling back a bit, which means I'm maybe a little knackered from going in that rolling section. Focusing attention to your graphics on the right again, you'll see that we are now a group of 14. There's a couple of riders at 12 seconds, and then the bigger pack at 46 seconds. Keep in mind, this is the 3rd lap, and this is a C race. Previously, when I was riding in the middle of the pack, sometimes I sneaked toward the front of the pack. Now I'm starting to go toward the back part of the pack. And so that is a bit of a concern. The first thing I do is look to see how many laps we've already done and how far I have to go. That's always a bad sign, but still I'm doing that. If you move your attention to the top of the screen, you'll see that number there, that's 6.7 miles to go off of the 9.8 mile race. Yeah, we're about 1/3 of the way done. And we're stretched out and we're chasing people. We're chasing about 3 riders up there. And now there's a split. And I'm behind one guy's wheel and I'm not looking to jump across. Actually, I'm doing that now, but I don't have a lot of energy. I'm just hoping that I can get up to they slow down, and thank goodness they're slowing down. I'm still doing over 4.0 watts per kilogram. There are now 13 of us in the front group, and I believe 26 started. This pack is so fast that anytime I'm below 3.0 watts per kilogram, then I must be resting a bit. This definitely isn't getting any easier. Now there's a breakaway trinoform of 2, and there's a 2 chasing, kind of. Again, just all stretched out. Thank goodness that I'm still toward the front of this small pack. We just started our 4th lap, and I am just about at the butt end, now at the butt end of our small pack. We're about 12 now, so another person dropped out. Okay, I'm riding wheels, and I'm in the rolling section, so that's a bad combination. Those guys are still stretched out up there. That guy's pulling away from me, and there goes my wheel. I'm getting tired. I'm not able to, I'm down to like 3.5, 3.1 watts per kilogram. And these guys are just drilling it. I'm still doing 3.4 watts per kilogram. I'm hoping everyone sits up because they're so tired, so it gives me a chance to catch up. But as I round the corner, they're way out there, and I don't think that's going to be happening. So I am sitting in 13th position. I have the pack up there about 7 seconds ahead of me, and that is, pretty sizable. And then the people in back of me, there's one at 17, one at 3 seconds that I just passed, but everyone is close to a minute back there. So I am in no man's land. So all I'm thinking about now is keeping this up, keeping the power up, so the people in back of me don't catch me. At 5.5 miles to go, all I'm thinking about now is keeping the power up enough and consistent enough where those people in the back of me just don't catch me. Now, I started off in 13th place, and as I continued on to the race, I'd pass up a person here, a person there, and then I ended up as high as 10th place. Still, I don't want to be caught by anybody, so that's why I'm keeping the power up. Everything was looking good till about 2 laps to go when there was a small pack that I noticed behind me that was starting to cut time down. And so they were putting in wattages of sometimes close to 5 watts per kilogram. And whenever I saw that, I'm thinking that's got to be momentary, that they can't keep that up. Still, that gave me incentive to keep my watts per kilogram above 3 and maybe close to 3.5. And then I would just do that as long as I could, and then I dial back a bit, not dropping it down a lot, but just dropping it back a little bit so I can have a little bit of recovery so that I can keep going. So now on the last lap, I'm looking at the people behind me, and the people ahead of me are just way ahead of me, and but the people behind me, I'm just concerned about some people just coming up, and there seem to be about 3 people that were working together. I think only because I was able to maintain the 3 to 3.5 watts per kilogram those last few laps, that disincentivized the others, and I was able to come in 10th out of 26. However, when I look on ZwiftPower.com, I got 7th out of 15. Now, the first person up there that you see, first place up there, Mark Body, he actually was 2nd place on Zwift.com. The first place person, well, he had a watts per kilogram of 5.0. That's talking about category A, not a category C race that this is. I hope you enjoyed this and got something out of it. Remember, as always, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.